Seek what they sought, not what they taught. Now, they being the greats, the Platos, the Aristotles, the Marcus Aureliuses, the Buddhas, the man that changed the world, the Confuciuses. These people, most of them taught, but we should not seek to be dogmatic in their teachings, but we should seek to be dogmatic in the search of what they were seeking and stay true to that path and carve our own path. Now, this idea is brought to life in Thus Spoke Zarathustra by Friedrich Nietzsche. He talks about how, well, well, Zarathustra, I've never read the full book in entirety, so forgive me for that. But I have read some of it, and I've watched many videos on it, so I feel I'm able to talk on it. But in the book, there's a part where Zarathustra, people are starting to follow him dogmatically, and he reproaches them for this. He says, "Do not do this. Do not do as I tell you, unless you've come to the same conclusions as me. Then we can walk the same path together. But if you are just not thinking, if you are not attempting to seek what I am seeking, and you just follow me blindly," he says he does not want this. He does not want herd animals following him. He does not want a crowd of sheep behind him. He wants either people who have somehow come to the same conclusions as he in the matters of utmost importance, and they walk with him for those reasons, or they oppose him and he welcomes the opposition because it is all in service to finding truth. It is in service to virtue. It is in service to eternity. And Zarathustra has no problem with this. And he just, like I said, he does not want dogmatic followers. He does not want people who just listen to him because that's what he said. He doesn't want people that trust that Zarathustra is smarter than they. And that means that they don't have to do the thinking because he's already done it. There's no point in doing it because he is smarter than me, so why would I do it? But the thing Zarathustra understands is that we all bring a different perspective to the table. We all have different experiences in life that have affected us in different ways and make us see things in a different light without a bias than other people may. And for these reasons, we truly must do our own thinking, and we truly must listen to the greats because they are greats for a reason, but not just dogmatically follow them because others have said that they are worthy of dogmatic following, but because we have come to the conclusion that some of their precepts are true, but others are not. Others are not so true and should not be followed. They should just be considered, not never thought of again, not proven 100% wrong, but just not holding dogmatically. And I think that's what all the great teachers teach. And I think Nietzsche was brilliant for having Zarathustra, the Übermensch, the ideal human being one of these people who didn't wish for dogmatic following, only for people to be their own thinkers, only for individuals to be who they truly are, only for people to come to their own conclusions. And as I said, if they meet the same conclusion, then great. We're one step closer to the truth. But if they don't, then we're still closer to the truth. It's still a better state than a dogmatic follow, than one who didn't do his own thinking. Because that is nothing. That is not help for sure, and it's probably harm because it will lead others to do the same. And eventually they'll just be a group of people who don't think for themselves, and it'll be a cult setting of no one who thinks, just listens to one leader at the top, dogmatically, no matter what, trusting that they know best, not seeking what they're seeking, but just seeking what they're teaching. Now, I believe I'm speaking in terms of, truth and virtue and eternity and wisdom and, things of that nature, but this can obviously be set in anything. It doesn't need to be matters of that nature, because I think we all want to be great in a certain sense, no matter what it is we're doing, whether that's great at leisure, great at work, great at play, great at whatever we do. And to be truly great, all the greats, all the best to ever do it in any field, um, they they were innovators. They brought something new to the table. They changed the game. They were standing on the shoulders of giants, and by doing so, they created new castles in the clouds that have never been created. And you can only do this when you seek what they taught, when you seek what they saw, not what they taught. Because you'll never surpass one that you dogmatically listen to. And you'll never be great if you're just not even standing on the shoulders, but just standing underneath giants. You'll never be a giant in yourself. And you'll always have to give credit where credit is due. But you can still be an individual thinker, and you can still understand that even if you're wrong, at least you tried. At least you brought to the table your own individual perspective that may breed another person's own individual their own individual ideas that will get closer to truth, get closer to right, get closer to greatness, get closer to whatever it may be. You can always be inspiration, being your true authentic self, because that will always breed other people. That will always make other people want to be their true authentic selves. And I think that is truly how we get a better world, a world a world where humanity becomes closer to God than human, because that is the thing that makes us uniquely human. And this is kind of the take of the greats, the takes of Aristotle and Plato and Socrates, that our intellect, our mind, our contemplation, these are the things that make us divine, because clearly we are the only ones who do it in the nature, the degree, and the extent that we do it. So it must be the thing closest to God. And Aristotle talks about how, I'm pretty sure Aristotle talks about it, how God must just be in a state of contemplation. Because what does he need to do? God is, I'm reading a book called the Vita Contemplita, I think, Vita Contemplita. And it talks about how God is in an eternal Sabbath, because that is where true life is. True life is in inactivity, in leisure, and contemplation, and coming to these truths and seeking what the greats have sought. And I think we also need to remember Plato's allegory of the cave, where you go to the light, you seek these things, and then you go back to the darkness and you teach these things. So people will seek what you have sought. every person who has left the cave, metaphorically, and goes back, does not want to just tell stories of the light. They want people to go and see the light for themselves. They want people to interpret the light in their own way. And I think if you respect the greats and you respect yourself, you will seek what they sought, not what they taught.